Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Thursday night. What? So, it's actually a lot going on today for it being the 2nd of November, which, of course, it is Day of the Dead, as we know. Of course, I know, because I'm channeling the dead quite daily these days. There's also National Deviled Egg Day, which, what is that? There's National Men Make Dinner Day. Well, that's my day every day because I make dinner all the time. There's also All Souls Day in Brazil, but also in Western culture, there's All Souls Day. Can you also believe it's National Dynamic Harmlessness Day? I don't know what that one is. There's also the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists. I mean, the list goes on, and this one is quite the funniest. It is Look for Circles Day. Well, I mean, it's quite easy to look for circles. It's right in our eyes. Look in my eyes. Entrench yourself in circles all day today. Unless you're looking at your dogs. There's a lot of dogs running, of course, in circles. I have 2 of them here. So welcome. Let's see who's joining the room. David Cruz, welcome. Daryl Blankenship, my friend, welcome. Allie, welcoming. Yeah, powdering my nose is kind of a cliche sentiment. I wasn't really doing that. I don't use makeup. I figure if there's a blemish, let it show. There's one right here. See that blemish? We're human. I'm here to talk about spirit and important information, not here to be a model. Unless it's a role model, of course. Sydney Aaron Sullivan. Sorry, guys. I'm also just reading these comments that were before the live started. If you want to book a session, it's actually in the bottom below. We're going to, of course, make new people, wait for more people to come through. That's right, it is a Scott Day. Tommy Garassi, that is very true. Berg, welcome. Christopher, welcome. Rosita, welcome. Nina, thanks. Nina's my great mod. So, guys, she will be kind of guiding you along the way about what to do. Again, this is live, so just gonna be screw-ups. Things are gonna be kind of screwy. That's part of being live. It's great. I love that. Unpolished, raw. You get what you know, kind of in the moment. Ellie Baba, welcome. Who else did I miss? Sydney Aaron, welcome. All right, as we wait for more people to trickle on in, as you know, we will do the collective read. And those of you who want to get started now, to get your questions, let me put that here on the screen. Forgot. Get your questions answered. $15 for a card pull, $20 for 1 question, $30 for 2 questions. Anything that you want to have asked, we will do it here live. So you want to start getting your readings in now and paying for that ahead of time. That's great. We'll do that in probably the next 25 minutes. We'll do a collective read and kind of do our topic, which our topic today is psychic frauds and spiritual skeptics. Somehow they go hand in hand too. So we'll get into that aspect and kind of what to look out for when it comes to fraudulent psychics. And there's also different variables that a lot of psychics get also labeled as frauds, but they're really not. Are they in training? Are they new? Are they actually psychic? Who knows? We'll get into that. As well as great, I would say, counter arguments that we can talk about when it comes to spiritual skepticisms. Of course, as you know, as being a psychic medium, I get a lot of that, especially because I don't look the part. So I get a lot of people very skeptical. So yeah, I definitely chose to be in the limelight and be criticized just because I want to scam people, right? So we can get into, so the conversation is how to actually interact with spiritual skepticisms and spiritual skeptics or cynics, and get kind of great about that. Neptune Girl, welcome. Katie DeLong, welcome. We'll need a couple more seconds, I guess, or maybe a minute or so before we start the collective read. I'm actually going to be using my traditional tarot deck as a green screen is making it look quite kind of holographic, which is kind of cool. Because I feel like when I show my other tarot deck, it's all neon. People can't really get a gist of the imagery. So these are kind of just straightforward. So we're using that for the collective read as well, especially for the card pulls. And I, of course, love my oracle cards as well, as in conjunction. And so we'll wait another minute and we'll start that. And I think we'll have a good live ahead of us tonight. Last time I realized there was like too much music looping in the background. And on my end, it was so low I couldn't hear it. So we'll make sure we don't have any of that today. None of that musical distractions. All right, let's shuffle these cards. All right, the cards over here. All right. Christopher Witecki's in the room. Maybe at some point he can let us know what the hell's going on with the planets. I know a lot of you guys have been feeling very heavy. It has been a very thick energy the past week and a half. Almost like feeling like you're walking underwater. I've definitely been feeling that more like a tiredness and a heaviness and a sluggishness. So Christopher, if you want to chime in and let us know what planet's doing what and why are we feeling this way the past week, that would be very insightful. For a lot of you, it could be emotional heaviness. Also, a lot of times in situations like this, a lot of past traumas and past unresolved could start resurfacing during these times too. For me, it's just been I'm just tired. I want to nap, and the dogs want to nap a lot, and so there's definitely something going on in the collective, and also with whatever planet. And that's what I have my brother Christopher Techie help me inform me about what planet's doing what and where and why. Okay, what's causing these moods? Especially, intuitively, I see a lot of changes happening within the collective, especially with, individual reads. And I'm like, there must be some sort of, planet at that time. And so that caused some great change. And so these cards are old. It's hard to shuffle them. Right? Napping a lot, man. But, I always say sometimes, we're the animals hibernate, bears hibernate. I mean, sometimes we humans got to hibernate. Do we ever hibernate? So sometimes we have to allow ourselves to hibernate too, and migrate away from the collective sometimes to rest and recalibrate. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We're always in a go mode, go pacing, Speaking of Five of Swords, okay. All right. This is rather specific, what's coming out here. So I guess we'll talk about, this is an interesting read because it's actually talking about being defrauded and not trusting people that you need to, you should be trusting. And that's part of the discussion as well. Neptune girl, welcome. All right, let's see here with the collective. Okay, just gonna pull my oracles. Okay. All right, interesting. Well, Five of Swords. When this comes out for me, it's kind of, and especially I read it in what it represents, but also what it's also telling me behind that. Let me get better at changing this too, by the way, guys, because sometimes I am so behind on changing my little overlays so we understand what we're actually doing now. Now we're at the collective reading. Some of you guys have been dealing with a lot of mistrust or dealing with people that are, kind of have really their own, say mission or own agenda, whatever circumstance dealing with you, that you need to be aware that there are people that are in your lives that will win at all costs type of ordeal. What it means, they will lie to you, take advantage of you. It's time now to be aware of these types of individuals in your lives, because it appears that there are people either swindling you, and maybe people in the room that just need to hear this. You're being swindled, both, could be financially, but also emotionally and intellectually. So I think now is an important time, especially with the heaviness you were just mentioning, that you're very much aware of who's around you and what people are saying and not saying. Because a lot of times, what people aren't saying is very loud and clear, depending on what they're also saying too, in conjunction to. So we need to be very aware and have a lot of discernment on the people we are interacting with. Because what the reader is saying here is there may be a few of you in the room that are being swindled financially, either through a romantic relationship, a friendship, family, whatever type of relationship dynamic it is. You guys are, some of you guys are being swindled. And it's almost like there are things before you that are showing the evidences of this, and you're not seeing it. And so a lot of times, if we're not seeing this emotionally, sometimes then it'll hit us financially. So once more, this is kind of a continuation from the last lives, collective read, very similar, about things, triggering the financial aspects of your life. If you're not paying attention to things that are going on intellectually or emotionally, then all of a sudden it's going to start hitting and pounding you in the financial aspects, the material world aspects. So it's very important that you guys understand who you are surrounding yourselves with and who you're affiliating yourself with, because some of you are just kind of trusting just to trust. And I would say, just giving trust away is not very smart. It's not very wise, because, people earn that trust. I always say, do not put trust in a person. Don't put trust in people. If you trust yourself enough to have discernment to make your own decisions, you'll just meet people who are like-minded. And people who are not like-minded, you understand to which context that they are not like-minded, and you'll deal with them accordingly. So again, it's very important to understand that built-in discernment and understand that you have the ability to make the best decisions for yourself. And if you trust that, you won't have to trust another person. You'll mingle with the right people. You'll see things clearer. right? So again, if you're a very loyal person and very honest, and you are actually very clear about that, and you trust yourself on that, you'll align and resonate with people who are honest and also who are very loyal. And those who are not, you wouldn't feel a gravitational pull towards. You'll feel more of a repelling energy, more resistant toward those people who are not, I would say, in alignment to that, loyalty and honesty energy, whatever the parameter may be that you're kind of seeking in people. And so it's very important for you guys to really trust yourselves first, and not putting trust in another human. The fact we say, I can trust them, it's very much it's complementary to the individual that we are speaking of. But again, we're really kind of trusting ourselves in the sense that we are allowing this person in our lives because of what we see in them. But if you're seeing it through a lens that's distorted and a lens that's very much limitation and fear and worry and self-deprivation, we're going to get more of that. And we're going to get people that are going to confirm to us that we are less than by attracting people who are less than. And they will definitely validate that you are thinking that because they'll take advantage of you. They actually will lie, be dishonest, all that negative shit that we talk about in relationships and people go to readings for. Those things will start manifesting as a representation and a reflection that is how you actually are valuing yourself. Because if you're valuing yourself greater than that, well, then you wouldn't be necessarily attracting and mingling with individuals like that. You'd spot it out like this. You see, we all have intuitive energy. We all are intuitives. We all have different variables and different levels to which we can sense things or see things. And depending on how much we flex the muscle and flex that intuition, we all have that intuitive ability to read circumstance. Especially, most importantly, we all have the ability to in our own lives. Many people are not utilizing that awareness. And they're just giving it away. And then wondering why they keep attracting the similar circumstances and creating the similar circumstances when, of course, as we all know, Psychology 101, who is the common denominator in the circumstances? It is us. So we have that ability to change it. And they're saying, anytime you get into a circumstance and you feel disempowered, it's a disempowering circumstance. Okay? Chances are, too, if it is a circumstance that you do need to summon the strength on, then you need to take a step back and disassociate from the actual event and look within. And start looking at yourself and what is more valuable to you and what you're actually desiring for the outcome, and understanding you have the ability and the strength to summon that intellect and to go with that forward with that momentum instead of being weak to a circumstance, instead of being deprived in a circumstance and just reveling through it just because you don't know what to do with it. And I always say, it really isn't nothing you have to do with the circumstances. It's everything that you have to do with yourself to maneuver through it. Big difference. A lot of people are trying to change the circumstance. And usually the circumstances involves another individual, which you can't change people. What you can do is actually learn how to maneuver around certain things and utilize those situations to your benefit. And so a lot of guys are afraid of loss. Ten of Cups, all about, or excuse me, Five of Cups, very much about about losing and the fear of loss in this sense. So I don't feel like you guys are going through loss. Maybe some of you might be, but a lot of it has to do with the fear of loss. I don't want to leave this relationship. I'm just afraid of losing right now. I'm afraid of losing, a compatibility and companionship. I'm afraid of being alone. Is a big common one what people say in toxic relationships, and I say, I hate to break it to you guys, but you are alone. You're alone in this relationship. You're the only one that's like wanting for it what you want for it. The other person doesn't want to engage with it the way you want to engage with it. So you're alone now. And please be very, very aware about how you feel, because you might think it's a fear of the future, but I would say you can't feel an emotion for something that has not happened yet. If you are relating to that feeling, you're feeling it now, you're in it now. So fear of loss means you're losing now. The fear of being alone means you're alone now. What are you going to do to change it? So, sorry guys, I'm dealing with a little bit of allergies, as I frequently do. Could be all the incense I'm having, so I'm sorry you might hear it on the microphone. I'll get rid of it soon. This is how you fix it. You got to find the things that and again, this seems like a kind of repetition from last week's live, guys, that you guys have to practice gratitude. And the main reasons for practicing gratitude is to understand the things that you have developed already, the things that you already have accomplished up to this point in your life, and understand you've had this intellect and strength up to this point, so you're not useless, and so you're not completely powerless. You can evolve from that. You can evolve more into what you're wanting, because of the gratitude and the things that you already have around you. And that's, again, how you create new beginnings. Because, sometimes it takes a dark period, a void energy, to get you to move forward, to create focus. And of course, I'm kind of, don't show the cards all the time, 'cause I'm just reading, and the cards are kind of a template for me because I don't really need the cards just to be flashy. But this, the void with the, focus, it's saying sometimes you have to be in a state of powerlessness to understand how to become powerful. It's that yin and yang energy again, guys, but you guys are kind of dealing with empowerment and letting situations that are out of your control dominate. And because you're not are in control of those certain circumstances, you don't take control of your own power and your own perspective. That's where you guys are falling on that, and that's where you're losing focus. But when you say gratitude and understand the things you have accomplished, the things you can accomplish, the things you want to accomplish, and you remain in that gratitude and appreciation, that will allow you to open new doors. And that'll allow you to see clearly how you can maneuver around these circumstances that are, again, anchoring you down, causing complacency. And then seeing right through the people who are trying to swindle you, either emotionally, physically, financially, whatever the case is. So what are you guys doing at your discernment? Are you utilizing that? Because a lot of times, when you tell even friends are going through hard times, they always say, I know. We all know, but what are you doing about it? A lot of people already know everything that we're talking about here. What are you doing? But the reason why you're not being empowered to move forward is because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust that you can actually recreate a different situation or a better situation. And that's most important for you guys to understand, and stop depriving yourself of freedom, of actually allowing yourself to maneuver around circumstance. And again, the cliche sentiment, I'd rather be a single and happy than to get a partner and miserable. I mean, I'm sure everyone feels that and can agree with that. But some of you guys have to be reminding yourself of that as you're in the circumstances, okay? And those, again, I feel like you guys are also maybe some of you might be going through some financial issues right now. I know things have been kind of rather quiet. Maybe people's works, businesses have been maybe as a little quiet at this time. It's kind of what's going on in the collective, I feel, right now. People are slightly hibernating. People are not really engaging as much. And so a lot of that has to do with the collective, so don't take that personally. Once more, if it's a situation you cannot control, what can you do to maneuver around it? So during this time, if things are slower with work and there's some financial difficulties going on, what can you do to create more value right now? What can you do to prepare for the next windfall, right? So it's preparation mode. And that's why a lot of times we have to hibernate to reset, to recalibrate. We got to hibernate to allow the inspired thought from spirit to be relayed to us. If we're constantly going, constantly thinking, constantly talking, and not shutting up, we're not listening, how are we ever going to allow message from spirit to be inspired to us? And a lot of times spirit's trying to guide that message through, but we're so focused on what's going wrong that we're not seeing through the actual big picture. We're not seeing through actually, the storm per se. And so that's why it's imperative that you take a step back and be objective in your circumstances and look at it from a third person perspective and understand how you can rearrange things in your perspective as well. And there's always another opportunity that you can create outside of that. Right? It's very important. So think a lot of you guys are remaining stuck in those circumstances, and especially if you're in situations with relationships where the relationship is great, but there's a parameter of the relationship you have to accept, but you're not accepting because you're still stubborn and not wanting to adjust. So everything has to be your way. You might also have to be more flexible. You might be the person that needs to be more flexible in your relationship. You might be the person that needs to be more understanding to your partner. Okay, and that's causing conflict and creating more of a indifference to your relationship, because maybe you're the one that has to open up and be more accommodating, more compassionate, understanding, and selfless. And I see that in a lot of people who are very independently minded people who've been single for so long, they're not willing to adjust at all in the relationship, which is not wise, because you're gonna have to adjust something at some point when it comes to interacting with another individual. That's the fun of it. That's the fun of a relationship, is that compromise. So, once more, you guys have to take a step back and ask yourself, what am I really responsible for in these circumstances, in these situations? What part am I responsible for? Because you could be responsible for allowing the deprivation in that relationship, or you could also be responsible for creating the deprivation in that relationship. Which pole are you on? And decipher how you're going to empower yourself to make it better and to bring change for both you, the other persons involved. Again, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a friendship, a family relationship, or a business partnership, it's all the same information, the same context. So that's a collective read there. I'm not going to be too long-winded because I want to read you guys individually. And once more, I have to. Sorry, guys. I'm chapped lips here, and I'm talking. It's cracking. So you're gonna. Okay. I have to do this. I can't edit it out. But that's what we love about lives, anyways. It's raw, unfiltered. Who cares? If it's supposed to be produced to be a production company. Okay, and so now let's get into our topic. As I now have to remember, I'm remembering to change my banners now, so when people join late, they can see, okay, what's going on here? Let's see what's in the chat real quick before I get into the topic. Yeah, hit that like button. Thank Daryl. You're the man. Appreciate people like you, and for the support. You're amazing. Elisa, welcome. Welcome to the live. And I don't see everybody that walks in the room. Like on Instagram, I can see people walk in. I just see people comment. So I see people comment, I see it. So whoever else has joined the room, welcome. I can't see your name. And Benjamin, welcome. Okay, our topic. And there's two banners floating at the same time. Okay, there you go. I swear I got this, guys. I swear I got it. Okay, discussion. Psychic frauds and spiritual skeptics or skepticism. Okay. One thing that's very is important to me, which is why I wanted to kind of have this discussion. And by 6:30, we'll open to the questions one-on-one. Maybe it'll be a short live tonight. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not reading it. There's a lot of fraudulent psychics out there. Because the reason is it's very easy to prey on the vulnerable, right? And unfortunately, that is the case. That is why there's a lot of fraudulent psychics out there. There's a few on television, of course. That's really all for a television show. And also just a way to make money. But again, there are frauds in every type of occupation. And so for some reason, when there's a psychic fraud, then all of a sudden our whole industry of being spiritual becomes, the whole thing is fraudulent, which is not true. But although there are frauds that kind of want to prey on people's fears, I've actually had a client that saw a reader, and the reader told her that she's not going to live long. She's got her will in order. She's going to die. So are her children and her dogs, and she needs to pay $15,000 for her soul healing course. Yeah, unfortunately, that scared the client of mine that came to me that told me. But so she was kind of influenced by this, and some people are who already have those fears, and someone preys on that fear, it might click. Well, oh my God, maybe it's true. They're not seeing the fact that she's preying on that fear to sell her a $15,000 course, right? Red flag, guys. If they are telling you something very dark and negative, and then counter that with, oh, but I can fix it with a $15,000 course, $3,000, spell reversal, all that crap. Fraud, okay? And there are also those who have psychic ability that will actually read you to defraud you too. They will actually go, oh my God, well, how'd they know this? Well, they're actually psychic, but they're using that to defraud you. So there's that too. There's people who are not psychic that defraud you, just bring your fears, sell a course, and there's also psychics that will tune in to defraud you as well. You have to be paying attention to that, number one. Noel, welcome. Number two, the psychics that are frauds that also, use the curse energy as well. A lot of times they'll place the curse on you and tell you you have this curse by activating a fear within you, and you have to utilize them and pay them to remove the curse. Another red flag. Okay. Now those are obvious fraudulent psychics. Now, in today's social media world, I always tell people, if you're going to book a session with me, I say close your social media accounts, make them private, or even a session with any reader, shut down, make your accounts private. And if you're going to register, try to register with an alias. This way you can be sure that whatever psychic you're going to isn't looking you up. Now, granted, there's not a lot about, I've been on television, there's still not a lot about me when I Google me, so I'm sure there's not a lot of about people on Google. I don't know. I wouldn't think there's be much, but I would say to play it safe, just put your accounts to private so you can be sure that if you're going to read it, they're not reading your socials. And also don't put everything on your socials. I always recommend, please keep your life somewhat private. So you have those type of psychics who will look you up. So I would say put it private. You can book a session, use an alias. But there's also the psychics that people think are frauds are actually not frauds. There's a lot of psychics that think they're psychic, but they're really empaths. So they can read someone's energy, but they don't really understand how to read a trajectory. So you might go to the person that thinks they're a psychic, but they're an empath, and they'll read everything about you, but then everything in the future and past doesn't kind of make sense. That's because they don't know how to read a trajectory. Okay, so you have that, and then people think they're frauds, but they're just an empath, not a psychic. There are also those who think they're psychic that are not psychic because they've had a couple experiences, and they just hop on in the space and try reading people, and they're getting it wrong. Doesn't mean they're a fraud, they're just not really psychic, but they think that they are. And there's also newer psychics that are learning their craft, that you might book a session with a new psychic that's maybe just started doing it the past few months or a year. And so therefore they're trying to learn, and so they might get things that are on and things that are not on. So we have to understand the importance of the different variables when it comes to frauds. Those that are intentional and those who may appear to be frauds only because they're not really psychic and they think they are, or they don't have the craft built enough to be able to really fully read accurately. So it's very important to understand when psychics are on point, when they actually know what they're doing, if they're actually doing any type of other material, if they're coaching, teaching, all that extra stuff is good to understand if a psychic is genuine and knows their shit. And it has been doing it for a long time as well. It's important. You just use your discernment, guys. And again, I was inspired to talk about this simply because I've had a few people come to me that have had these fraudulent psychic experiences, and it frustrates me because I've been spending decades building this craft and really kind of want the collective and the masses to understand the legitimacy of spirit, and that we are spirit. That these people ruin the space. And they make it appear like all psychics are this way. And that's usually how the minds of the collective go. They don't say, oh, it's just that psychic is a fraud. They say, no, they all are, right? So it's frustrating to me, which leads me to spiritual skeptics. So there's people out there just cynical and just think that all psychics and all means, they're just all frauds, they're all fake. And so, which again, a blanket statement isn't very intelligent because, not everybody has that intention to be fraudulent, to deceive people. But a great conversation I like to have with skeptics who just don't believe spirit exists. They don't believe there's a higher power. They don't think that there's any type of spiritual afterlife whatsoever, that when we die, we die. That's it. And I always like to combat and say, if we look at our universe, how just even the planets in the solar system, how things orbit around each other and the different universes, and then we go into life and different species of animals, and of course then the human species, the neurological foundation of our bodies, and the digestive system, and how food is grown, and how everything is in perfect rotation of each other, a cycle, and so intelligently designed this universe that once we die, we don't look back to reflect on it. And all this intelligence keeps evolving, keeps growing, but there's no supreme energy there to oversee it. It's just a meaningless existence, which is not very intelligent to me for a very intelligent universe, a very intelligent experience that we call life. So when I pose that type of perspective on a skeptic, they realize they really can't think outside the box. And that's where you really get a spiritual skeptic. They're not able to think outside the box, because I tell them, if you're discounting the ability to be intuitive, you're discounting your own power. If you're discounting the fact that there is spirit, then you're discounting yourself, because you are spirit. And I always tell skeptics too, if you study the space, you will have experiences, guaranteed. If you study this space, you'll also be able to connect with spirit and develop intuition. Try it for yourself. And, because a lot of times these skeptics say, well, prove it to me. And I said, look, I spent decades proving it to myself. You do the work if you're interested. Don't exploit me at your expense. And so that's a great conversation to have with spiritual skeptics, is to just lay out how intelligently designed life is, but for what purpose? There's no purpose for any of it. Just because? No deity to reflect on it, to oversee it. We don't have perspective after life to reflect on it. It's not very bright to me. Not very intelligent for such an intelligently designed universe and experience. So of course, that leads me to believe it's not much true what they're saying. Especially those who have had continuous experiences in the supernatural area and the metaphysical spaces for many decades, which is why I keep trying to educate myself and grow too, because I want to teach people more about how they can tap into spirit and give that credit to spirit in a lot of things instead of this law of attraction, instead of other mechanics, which is great to learn about that. But at the end of the day, spirit is the one pulling the strings. Spirit's the one that's spinning that top. We can talk how much about why the top spins and why it's the momentum and velocity of why it spins, and because we can talk about all that, but let's talk about who's actually flicking that top, and that is spirit. We are manipulating reality. We are designing reality. We are actually shifting and reorganizing our reality when we're actually in our dream state, We actually, what I call template level reality. We actually rearrange our trajectories when we go in our dream state to understand, how we can actually either learn our karmic lessons more, or how we could actually, recreate a different paradigm based on what we've learned from our karmic lessons. We get to alter those things, and we do that all the time when we sleep. We're rearranging things. So we can talk about the mechanics all we want, but everything is always pulling away from the actual power, which is spirit, the soul. When I say spirit, I'm talking about guides, ancestry, spirit connecting with us, our own spiritual creation of this physical world. Every aspect, even the spiritual communities these days are not spiritual. They're talking about law of attraction, not spirit. So you can't be spiritual if you're not talking about how things coincide with spirit and the soul. Okay, and that's very important. That I say that today's day and age, it has nothing to do with spirituality at all. Nothing about soul evolution. It's about obtaining things, getting what you want, getting what you want, getting what you want. What do you want? What do you want? That's not spiritual. When you become spiritual, you got what you want. That's the paradox here in a lot of this. So, all right. So that is the collective or this discussion. Very quick. I didn't want to spend much time next. I want to get to the one-on-one questions. Anybody have questions about what I just discussed, about psychic frauds, or any experiences you want to share about fraudulent psychics, and any experiences with skeptics, or any questions about that? Put them in the chat right now. And what am I missing here? Chelsea, how do you feel about sites like, let's put this on here. How do you feel about sites like Keen, Kasama, California Psychics, etc.? Well, interesting, because I would say about 5 or 6 years ago, I tried to apply, and they declined me. And then I asked a psychic who actually worked for them, and they're saying that, I hate to say this, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but this is the response I got from someone who worked for one of those, especially one of my mentors. They said, I'm in the real deal. I won't follow a script. I actually had exposure and credibility already, so that could be another reason why they probably would think I just use them to get clients. But I think there are real psychics on there. I definitely wouldn't shine away from that. I've actually, I think 6-7 years ago, I did a test. I wanted to I think I've paid for 7 psychics. I wanted to see about one specific question and see how they would read it. Because I just kind of as a test. I said, let me do 7. And 6 of them said kind of bullshit answers that kind of just would make me feel good. There was only one person that gave me the actual truth and the harsh truth. And so, of course, she wasn't rated the best. She wasn't rated the best, but she was the best accurate information of the question I asked. And the circumstances I was asking about, see if she'd pick up on it. She did everything. Not the best rated, because she's giving people the harsh truth. So I think places like, Kasamba, California Psychics, you're going to get a mishmash of energy. You're going to get people who think they're psychic, but they're not, who are more empathic. You have a lot of them. I think there's a parameter they probably have to follow, where you have to say certain things and follow a certain script, I'm sure, because it was kind of obvious to me when I took 6. 6 had almost the same response and the same presentation, same type of way, and there was only one that was completely different from that, and that one was the only one that was accurate. So you're going to get a lot of fluffing on those types of sites to get you to come back, and I'm sure I can't say for sure, but my opinion is I'm sure they have a structure they have to follow to make sure customers keep calling, because again, they're in business to make money. My business, even though I make money at my business is to spread the word of spirit. So it's my living, as well as other things I do that make a living, and I'm going to charge, because people can't just get things for free either. You can't teach people, you just get everything for free. You got to invest to get something in return. So that's why I think it's silly when people say that people who work in the spiritual space shouldn't charge. It's the most dumbest thing I've ever heard. And it usually comes from people who have entitlement issues, who are self-entitled. But those sites, I'm sure you'll find some great ones on there, but I believe, my hunch says there's a format that you have to follow based on the tests that I've done, because I've always been interested in what other psychics are doing and if they're being, doing a good job for our community. That's why when people tell me they've gone to psychics, I'm like, how was your experience? What did they say? How did you feel? What didn't you like about this? Because I want to understand how my community is functioning. And of course, there's a lot of sensationalism in this community. So I can't speak specifically on them, but based on the tests that I did, the social experiment I did on that, 6 seemed to say the same type of thing, the same format, to kind of make me feel good and to leave me with open answers to call back. And 1 was actually the real deal, and she had the lowest ratings, but she was on point. So you guys have to be psychic about the psychics that you hire on sites like that. So, I mean, I definitely would, Okay. Questions, readings. I'm just seeing if there's anything in the um in the chat before I move on to the live readings, because it's that time. Okay, we're done with that discussion. I didn't see anything about the discussion. Let's get into the live reading segment here, and who did what and when and where and how. Okay, so let me see. And there's guys who want to book for the questions too. The links are in the bio. Sorry, let me get my apps up on here, okay, to see who came in first, okay. Let me log into my accounts. Sorry for the waiting period. I should have a little dancing monkey on the screen while you wait. Okay, and let me just go to. Okay, we have a lot already here. Okay. Elevate Holistic Coaching. Hates Katie. Card pull, please. Okay. Katie for Elevate Holistic Consulting. Katie. I have to log into PayPal because make sure, because PayPal doesn't send me notifications, so I have to log on and purposely check it. So bear with me un momento. Okay. This is for Katie. Elevate Holistic. Let's see. These cards are they're so flimsy, these old cards. They've been with me for so long. I think the Seven of Swords came out for a reason. If it comes out again, then it's meant to be. Because it peeked through. Okay. Katie, where are you? Just shuffling when it's ready. A lot of change. Okay, interesting. You're starting a new chapter. I would say this. You're gonna start experiencing. There's probably saying about 2 to 3 months. Almost like things would be flipping upside down in a good sense, right? Movement. You might start traveling more or have opportunities to travel, but they're almost saying you might be compelled to move, but don't. As far as relocating. And again, there might be different opportunities that would be presented to you. Almost there might be you might be in a position where you say, I have an opportunity here that will lead me here. But I have an opportunity here that will lead me here. Almost like a dichotomy, but kind of in the same realm. That I think that you'll have, more opportunity of different variables that you can choose from. So I think that's going to be very interesting. They're saying you've been kind of in a space of pause. And during this space of pause, that now it's you're feeling intuitively this restless energy, this energy being built up, that there's gonna be some sort of movement. You're feeling that because it felt like there's your energy was plateaued for a while, and you're like, gosh. And so we're saying, yeah, your cycle is complete. You're starting a new cycle now, and with the World card, it's a new cycle card for me too. But as I read it specifically for you, I also think you'll be connecting with other countries and travel, and more so. And they're saying to, don't be so hasty about moving, relocating as much as when the travel starts coming in. Because you might say, okay, now I'm going to move. So make sure you're actually kind of, taking a step back and understand I have different options here and let's explore them. You're going to see a lot more on the horizon. So don't be hasty, because when these opportunities kind of, fall in your lap in a sense, and you start feeling that momentum pick up, don't be hasty and say, I got to make this decision right away. Just take a step back. Take time on moving. Right? Both moving figuratively and also literally moving. Okay, take time on that. And I think that's when you'll find the path that resonates the most. Again, I feel like there's going to be two options, two different opportunities. But here's the thing, because a lot of people say, oh my gosh, what decision should I make? What's the best decision? I'll say they both are just different expressions that lead to the same path. So which is more fun to you? Take it, because they're both leading to the same path. You know what I'm saying? Almost like a little road, go like this and leads to the same path. So, and also I think a lot is about bringing about balance too. And that's funny, I was about to say balance as I pulled the balance card the oracle card. So that's pretty interesting that they're saying about that. So it's very exciting to me. I think, again, if I kind of would fluff this down a little bit more and just say, hey, there's opportunity coming for you. And you're going to choose this. And I get the 2 to 3 month time frame that this will come into play. Almost like this path. But remember, they're both little sub paths that lead to the main path that's going to get you where you want to be either way, either one that you choose. Okay? So that's pretty cool, actually. But they have to, the main emphasis on this card pull is you've closed a cycle. You have to understand it was taking time to close this cycle, this emotional cycle. Let me just see what the cycle kind of was. Retaining energy. I don't know why they said retaining energy. Yes, maybe you need to understand how to withhold your energy and stop giving it away, and understand how to really harness your own energy and keep it without just throwing it. Free energy. Let's give it away. You got to learn how to preserve it and say, I'm not giving my energy away. I'm not giving that to people. I'm not giving it to my clients. I'm not giving it to my family. I'm not giving it to my friends just because. You had to learn how to really find that balancing act, and that's what you had to close. That was a cycle you were closing. And so you've learned that. You've fulfilled that understanding. And so now they're saying this new cycle is, well, now you get to actually express and be free with that energy and be that Aries, energy that you intend to be now because of the fact you've actually completed that cycle. So understand when cycles close, it's a nice phasing experience. It's a little bit of peace at the end of the cycle. Yeah, it might feel like a plateau, but things will just, instantaneously shift. Sometimes they do, depending on what momentum you have going on, but that chapter had to fizzle out in order for you to get like an exhale, like a and you feel that, but you've been indifferent to that feeling because you're like, I shouldn't be able to feel at peace. It's like, no, you should feel at peace. That's the whole point. So and I think a lot of people here in the room too, when you feel at peace, you feel bad about feeling at peace. It's like there's something wrong. It's like, no, it's okay to not do anything for a minute. It's okay to be calm. It's okay to be relaxed. That's all right. All right. So a lot of movement. And remember, guys, if you knew your future, that's why a lot of people go to psychics. They don't know what's ahead. When we make sense of the picture, then you understand, no, you got to rest right now. You got to chill, because when things get busy, you need the energy. You need the energy. So that time of rest and relaxation is imperative. Okay? So that's a good one, Katie. I like that. I like it. As you see, I don't just do card pull. I go in depth with the card pull as well. Okay? So those of you who are maybe questioning about doing a card pull, we do get... it's more random what I see versus having a specific question. Okay, Chelsea Manica card pull. All right, Chelsea Manica. Anybody use PayPal? Because I didn't log in yet. I'm just doing Venmo right now. So, did anybody pay PayPal? Because I just in Venmo. I think everyone just did Venmo. Just so I don't have to log in. Just someone could just say yes if they did PayPal, and I'll log in. But right now I'm just seeing Venmo. I don't want to go out of order, the Virgo that I am. Actually, I think my mediumship sessions are the best, quite frankly. And my direct questions are the best. I think it's all good. Okay, this is for Chelsea Manica. I'm just shuffling. Guys, just FYI, I'm not a tarot reader. I use tarot. Big difference. I don't need to use the cards. It's just fun for live. It's fun for kind of just the randomness of it. I like when it's in a collective or situations like this. I love the randomness of this. For that, but I read people in bars. Like I go to a bar or store or restaurant. I meant like a restaurant bar, not I've actually read someone at a bar before. Freaked them out. They ran away. So it's just a note tool I like to assist on, but I'm a psychic medium first. The tarot cards are just for fun, as an addition. I always say as a secondary confirmation of a read. So when people book a session with me, I'm always writing shit down as I'm tuning in so I can reference it in the session. And then sometimes I'll say, I'll pull some cards based on what I said, and the cards will align with what I just written down and told them. So it's good to have that kind of little bit of a confirmation. You get more for your money. You get more for your money. All right, I'm still shuffling. I'm just trying to buy time because these cards are not quite ready yet for Chelsea, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, I think they're ready. And these cards are not the best right now. So. Oh, you use PayPal, Daryl? Okay. I changed the PayPal one, so if you use the older link, that's probably why I changed the PayPal link. So if you use the same one as last time. I'm very, very appreciative of my loyal watchers. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you guys very much. It's helping, to continue the momentum of my mission. So I really appreciate all of you guys that come every week, and you guys are very appreciated. I just want to say that from the bottom of my heart. You're helping to you're helping to assist in pushing the work in the direction I need to push it in. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Chelsea, there's some legal issues going on, they're saying. I feel like you're going to get there's a male and a female that I think is going to help you with some legal issues. Financially, assets, somehow. So, I really think, look, if you're having any issue legally, Chelsea, I think there'll be a female and a male that comes in that's going to help. And they're saying you need to be kind of more patient with them when they come in, if not already. That you're going to find the assistance that you need on the legal front of things. It feels financial. It feels like it could deal with certain assets of some sort. So if you have these people in your life now, it's a strong female and a strong male, that they will be doing a really good job for you. If not, they're coming in. These people, okay? I get the kind of the energy just now, right? And so I'm like, I don't know if it's now or just future, but if it's now, trust them. Have patience. If it's not, have patience, take your time, they're coming in, and be patient with them, that they know what they're doing, okay, on the legal aspect of things. And I think that's kind of important right now because I do feel there's some, struggle, with what to do in the legal aspects and and financials. What do you say? Does it have to do anything to do with force? I said financials. So I'd say it's possible. It's possible. Yeah. I mean, usually with financials and legals, it does involve another person. I'm being vague about that for a reason. Okay? Because I know how I need to answer the question. So I'm being vague for a reason. So maybe it has something to do with your divorce. But they're saying you're going to have either like a male or female attorney or, that kind of duality that is going to assist in your financial endeavors. So if it's not now, they're coming in. And it's going to help with these assets. Okay? It's going to help with assets. And stop overthinking. One thing, I feel like you're overthinking the message, too. So, it's okay. But allow it to be as simple as that. So basically, your financials and the assets of things, of whatever the distribution and splitting of such, so these things will be handled properly in the future. Okay, they'll be taken care of. And again, I see a very strong female attorney or accountant and a very strong male attorney, but having these two, almost like a right-hand man and a left-hand woman kind of by your side, helping with these legalities. So it'll be kind of in your favor. So that's good. And again, you asked about the divorce. I'm like, maybe. I'm purposely being vague about that because I need you to feel that out. Okay? They just want you to understand there's going to trust the legal counsel that comes in your path. And to be patient and take your time on that. And also a lot of it is to take your time on the legalities too, to not hop on it. And to allow yourself to digest, how to move forward with that. To be in haste even with this either, and saying that, okay, I'm going to strategize what I want to do with these legal aspects, and with the financial aspects. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Okay? This is live. Certain things I don't want to say live. I just want to suggest. Okay? And you think you understand why I'm saying that. But it seems like you'll have a good team of people. All right. Again, a very, very strong female energy and a very empowered and very powerful male energy, both on the legal aspects that will be helping you through this in the future too. Allison Fitzwilliam. I would like to connect with my friend Melissa. I want to know what she thinks of the afterlife. I want to know if she comes and visits me. I also want to ask her if she'll go to the concert with me this weekend. That's 3. Let me see. We'll just kind of, I mean, I got to kind of be more refined on that. Let me see how I want to respond to that. First of all, Melissa's kind of cheeky. She goes, Allison, it's not afterlife. It's just life. So clearly she wants to correct you on that for some reason. So has a sense of humor. And I think with the way she kind of responded to that, it seems like she might be very opinionated too, but not in a bad way. But she won't hold back on her opinions. I really get that, the way she kind of presents that. But she says it in love. Hold on a second. When I tap into spirit, I tend to write things down. And that might be a few things you might have to like also make a note of for yourself too. I don't know why she's connecting with like a vineyard or a vine reference. So I don't know if there was some sort of connection with the vineyard. If you and her went to a vineyard at one point, or she owns a vineyard. I just get a significance with the vineyard. Again, this is Allison Fitzwilliam's question. Okay, I'm talking about Melissa here. I don't know why she's connecting with the vineyard. Okay, and again, very opinionated, very, very quirky in energy with her. So she doesn't say it's afterlife. She says it's life, general. But I think she's attending to people in this life right now. I want to see, are you in the room at all? Allison, I'll make sure you're in the room. Can you just, Allison, if you're in the room, just say hi. I want to make sure you're getting this. I'll wait till you're in the room. I want to make sure you're here, too. I don't want to read it if you're not in the room. So she actually is enjoying the afterlife. I feel like she is very much connected to you, as well as other individuals, too. Is she sarcastic? I feel like Melissa's very sarcastic for some reason. Because she's like, yeah, I'm with you, but I'm with other people too. Like, you know, I make my rounds. I feel like she's very sarcastic in a playful way too. I keep getting that kind of response when I'm, trying to get these questions. She does visit you. Let me see if there's any validation she can present to me. Hold on a second. I know I'm going off on this, and I don't want to be too long-winded on this because I'm not doing a mediumship session that requires more focus. I'm kind of speed reading here, so it'd be a lot different if I'm like have focus, but I'm trying to speed read. She's also saying something too about, she felt suffocated. I don't know, during her passing, so I don't know what this suffocation is, and I'm just getting restrictive of breathing. Something was restricting her breathing for some reason. I don't know if she wants to go there. Maybe there's something unknown about her passing that she's saying, no, my breathing was restricted. She's throwing that out randomly too. But she says she visits you, and she comes, she says, in song and a bell, sounds of a bell. So if you hear random sounds of a bell, if you haven't heard it, you might even hear it later or during the set, during here now, just random bell, like it faintly. That's like her, like, hello, I'm here, like making her spirit known. And she says she's connecting with the candles. Did you do a sigil for her recently? I don't know, and I wish you were having feedback in the room, because I don't know if I'm just talking to thin space here. She's also connected with candles. I don't know if recently people did a sigil for her or did some sort of massive candle burning for her. She's like really connecting with that too. And maybe you organize it. I don't know. But she's connecting with that aspect. Most importantly, I think she's saying you feel her. Maybe you're unconscious and not aware of that. So you do have a spiritual entity, and again, I'm trying to see also too about this concert. I mean, I feel like she would have gone in live. It's almost like, I don't know if this is both you guys' favorite artist. I feel like if she was living, she'd be like getting the tickets. So I mean, she's definitely gonna go because she's saying it's like it's our favorite. It's your favorite artist or it's your favorite event. You know, it's almost like it gives me like this cult like following, like it's like a Swiftie type of thing. So I don't know if that's the type of show. I'm not getting the artist per se, but it's almost like a Swiftie energy, like a cult like following of this concert. So maybe you two like really kind of obsessed over this artist, but it's almost like of course she's gonna be there. It's almost like the two of you guys are very, you know, connected with this artist. So she's definitely going to be going there like as if she is there. And she's saying something with the number 33 with the concert too. You might see the number 33, even it's like maybe it's like a 33rd seat or 33rd row. I don't know. There's some with 33 that you'll see to let her know, to wink at you that she's with you. You'll see it. There's a symbol of that with the concert. I don't know if the seats are like good but not so great, but they're like okay, but they're kind of like in the center, side center. I don't know if that's where the seats are or something like that. But yeah. No, but she's saying something about you guys shared music. She said that before too. Do you guys like share music? I feel like you guys like shared similar music, or she connects with music hardcore. And or maybe saying like you are kind of like some sort of whatever. There's a fan or cult following of some artist or something you guys follow. I don't know, or I don't know what she's saying with that. It's almost like she's saying she'll definitely going to go. Like, she's saying if she was alive, she would go. I don't know what I'm getting about that. She might be kidding, but I think she's for real about that. But pay attention. I don't know. There's a vineyard reference she mentioned before. She's connecting with. I don't know what that's connecting with. As well as coming with the bells, coming with the, her presence with the bells, and some candle sigil she's saying that she has been connecting with and really appreciating, and you feel her, and she comes through music, too. So she's around you. Again, she comes very sarcastically. Oh, I'm with you, but I'm with other people, too. And she's like, it's not afterlife, it's life, So that sarcastic, bubbly energy I love. But she's connected with you a lot, and she's like, you got to feel me. You got to feel me, she says. You have to feel me. How can you not? I think you might hear her too. She's saying she's trying to duplicate her voice in your mind. You might be thinking it's you, but like she's trying to get audible to you, like you to hear her. So try to listen to her too. Because I hear her voice in the back of my mind, and I think she's trying to get that in your head, but you might be thinking it's just you, like you're making it up, but you're not. All right? So, yes to the concert thing. Yes to the fact that I feel like she would have been there anyways. Something about this cult following with this music and connecting with the music and all that shit. Okay? And so 100%. And she loves you very much, too. She's like, I'm not anywhere else. I don't know why she comes with a duh energy for some reason. I don't know why she's doing that. Like, well, duh, I'm here. I don't know why, but I think it's because she doesn't want you to feel like there's anything different. I think she doesn't want you to feel like there's some sort of drastic change, that I'm somehow this different being in some foreign place. She's like, I'm here. So I think that's kind of why she's amplifying that kind of sarcasm and the duh energy, because she's like, nothing's changed. But find her, okay? And again, the feeling sensation, it's just a bell ringing the sound you might hear that's like random, that doesn't belong, that it's her trying to, she's like, I'm trying to wake her up. That, and of course the audible and hearing her. Okay. She's around. Anything you want to tell her, like, directly? She's ragging on your shoes. I don't know. She's making she's showing me, she's like, fix the shoes or fix the, she's talking about the shoes. There's a joke about shoes. And I get this every now and then, but it's always connected to something different. I've had this before, like a shoe reference, but she primarily shows me like sneakers or something and laughing about them. So I don't know if like you just got new shoelaces or shoes, or you're obsessed with sneakers. I don't know. Or she was, and just laughing about it. I don't know if it's something recent, but you might have to digest and sit on that one for a little bit, because I'm like, I have no clue what she's trying to say on that one. But she's with you. She's saying tell Donnie or Johnny hi. Tell Donnie or Johnny hi. I don't know if I'm hearing the name correctly. Tell Donnie or Johnny hi, she says. I don't know if I'm hearing that correctly. But that's what she's saying. She loves you, and she's still very she's very bubbly to me and sarcastic in a funny, loving way. So I hope that makes some sort of sense. Rashida, moving on to Rashida Rostanovic. The I do, what was the I do to? I'm lost on the. Oh, so that makes sense. Like, I'd be there if I was alive. I guess that makes sense then. Why is she saying something like, she's giving like a Swiftie energy? What do they call like Taylor Swift saying Swiftie? I'm not saying it's a Taylor Swift concert, but it gives you this like cult following like this. I don't know. I don't know how to interpret that, to be honest with you. Or maybe because Swiftie is country. I don't know. I don't know much about Taylor Swift. But again, these are speed reads, by the way. In a mediumship session, I have time to digest and channel, but these are speed reads. So, Queen. Okay. Awesome. Interesting. Perfect. So that makes sense then. It makes sense why she'd say if she's alive, she'd be there. Because she seemed like as if she was like either supposed to be there or something too. So, and some with 33. There'd be something. I don't know if there's a. You'll see 33 by the seats. So maybe you guys are the cult following, that you are a cult with music, because she's connecting with that in the beginning. She was connecting with like she comes to music, you know, and like this cult following energy. I don't know what that means. But maybe it's just kind of like, maybe that's just a symbol of like you guys kind of really into it, you know? So, yeah. Okay, this is for Rashida Rostanovic. Interesting. They're saying, Rashida, that it's time to transform your work, your art, your skill, your trade. It's transformation time. So, they're saying that if you channel the past and you understand everything and you put that into your art or into art, I think you'll see a big transformation artistically. Okay? So I really think that you're really good at this craft, because again, it's all about, this is about skill, trade, all that stuff. And to me, it reads as art. And this is all about a card about the past. But I'm just saying, and of course, death and transformation. So I think you need some sort of breakthrough. They're saying channel your past for artwork. Channel your past for creating art. Channel the past and put that into inspiration. Create new ideas to transform your art. They're saying you feel stuck in your artwork. You're feeling stuck. Oh, I don't know what to do, how to start. It's like, channel something. Something you've been through as inspiration. And then you'll start seeing like things will be like these inspirations start flowing to you better or clearer. I think they're saying you're pondering, and I think you've been asking for inspiration and what to do, and maybe like painting or something, or some sort of visual art, right? And they're like, well, you gotta fucking channel something, channel an emotion, and transform your energy. You know what I mean? Makes sense. And by doing so, you can feel a sense of relief, right? I love that, actually, because they see like it's almost like I'm assuming it's visual art, Rashida. I assume. Yeah, but channel the past. They're saying like go into like a past experience, something that you have experienced. Harness that energy into an emotion. Say, okay, now how can I express this emotion? What does this emotion feel like to me? And then boom, paint it. Because I see all these blank canvases. Either it's literal or figuratively. I feel like it's literal. I see all these blank canvases, and you're just like, you don't paint. You're just like, oh, God, I have all these. I don't know how to put these ideas down. Where do I go with it? I can do this. And they say you're thinking too much instead of doing too much. Or instead of, I would say channeling enough. So, yes, definitely get into channel mode. Okay? And they're saying utilize your past experiences, both good and bad. Both good and bad. All right? That's good, because I think you're going to have a breakthrough, artistically speaking. I keep seeing easels and visual art or paintings, something of nature. So that could be figuratively speaking, but I feel like it's both, and like literal visual arts. So that's good. Oh wait, I'm just catching up on Alibaba. I know a lot of Ali's connected to my work. This is interesting. Yeah, but Ali, she's kind of, when you say that, you try to make it to bedside. She's like, her response is, she's like, "Girl, please." Okay, I mean, she's like, "Girl, please, don't worry about that." You know what I'm saying? She says like I don't know if you guys have said you were thick as thieves. She meant that. You guys are thick as thieves. Things like that are irrelevant to her. The fact you attempted to, what you brought to her life, she's saying was invaluable. That connection. This hasn't changed. And, a lot of times I want to have like kind of have more care when I'm like, channeling spirit, but sometimes it's just like, just show my personality. I'm like, all right, as uncomfortable it might be for me, I'm like, that's how they want to present themselves, fine. So in this situation, I think a lot of what she is wanting to be like, nothing's changed, girl, please. Like, you didn't show up. I get it. I understand. And so I feel like she said she felt you in spirit anyways. So, yeah, I really feel like she doesn't really, it doesn't bother her. She's like, there's so much good about your dynamic, and there's certain things that are out of your control. And, and here's the thing, I feel like she wants me to convey to you too. A lot of times when we don't get to reach them on their deathbed, it's for a reason. A lot of times it's easier for them to let go without the struggle of wanting to stay behind. You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't know what was intrusive to her breathing. They might have caught the air supply, but there's a feeling of being suffocated, and probably it's good that you didn't experience that part. Okay? And I think that, again, a lot of times they don't want you to have imagery burned in your head, and so they'll pass before you get there deliberately. I feel like she's saying this. Like, I didn't want you to have that image, girl. Don't worry about it. I don't want you to worry about that. So I think a lot of times I see that happen. They pass before you get there for a reason. So it's the image that burnt in your brain. But don't carry that guilt. She's like, girl, please. That's how she addresses that. I'm sorry to sound dismissive. That's really coming from her that way. I wouldn't choose to respond that way to that. It'd be a very bold way to respond. That is not me responding that way. Okay. Let me log on to... I'm going to do a card pull for Noel, and then let me just log on to PayPal. I think Daryl said I haven't checked my PayPal. But it's a quiet night, so I'm assuming I'm doing the right thing. I'm not. It's an intimate evening with you all. I just don't get notifications with PayPal. It must be on my other account. Un momentum, por favor. I have 2 PayPal accounts. I think I've listed the wrong one. Okay. Where's Daryl's? Okay, all these like login screens just to log on. Sorry guys, to keep you at pause here. Okay, there it is. Okay, let me do Noel's card pull. Let me get to Daryl. Okay, yeah, he did the other account. All right, this is for Noel. Wait. I hear the chat's going off, but I'm behind on it. Okay. Okay, I'm glad it makes sense, because a lot of times I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm saying. It's just, because to me as a medium, it all seems so random, but like so pushed to me. And a lot of times being a medium, we have to be great interpreters. Because we get the energy block, we have to be good at really interpreting the energy for you. So a lot of times as mediums that might be new, they're getting the symbology, but they're just off in the symbols, but they're spot on, but it's not interpreting to you. So I have to also read you guys to see how it's going to be received by you, to understand how to interpret it. It's a process. It's a process. A lot of times they would do or say things that I would not even expect, but it's pushed through me. And so I always feel uncomfortable and very on the spot at all times. But that's kind of what's exciting about doing this for, I would say professionally for 12 years, but my whole life. is that it keeps me on edge. It keeps me like, kind of on alert. But I like the feeling of being out of control too with it. That I know it's spirit. Okay. Interesting. This might be more motivating for you, Noel. This again, card pull for Noel, and then we'll go to Daryl. Mr. Daryl Blankenship's question, and then we'll finish the remaining two. Okay. These cards, I have to focus on these cards. They're so hard. Okay. Got it. I got it. I got it, Noel. Patience, my dear. Patience equals pleasure. Let me back up. It's too close. You don't want to see my nose hairs, do you? I don't think I shaved them yet. Patience equals pleasure. I do like this. They're saying that, be patient on building a community. It's going to happen. It's going to come into your experience of having the right community of people around you. They're saying you're a bit frustrated because it's not there yet. And they're saying patience equals pleasure. I think a lot of this time right now is utilizing your intuition, but not just intuition, because that sounds so vague and general and blah, blah, blah. Every idiot says that. Your intuition. Although it's true, but we're talking about your psychic ability. And with your psychic ability and what you can do to channel. I think I've said to you before that I feel like you're a conduit. And I think you need to really take heed on that, being a conduit. Understanding how you can also connect with others in that same energy space, okay? Because right now, I think you're looking at the glass half empty, in a sense, when it comes to building community, and even just like a group of people that are exclusive for you. They're also saying to dive into more mystical literature, especially when it comes to channeling. I think that's going to be very important for you to kind of begin a different layer of spiritual awakening. And so, well, you're talking about patience, and that is why that is your read. They said, my love, patience equals pleasure. And if you don't believe me, patience, pleasure, but they wanted me to say patience equals pleasure. They wanted to say that. And so during this time, and understand that, yes, you'll find a community of people that are building. And I think maybe 2 lives ago when you had a card pull, I remember vaguely about this work endeavor coming to fruition and connecting with 2 other people, like the Three of Cups celebration. I felt like you connect with 2 other individuals in an endeavor. So that's good. So they're saying the more you're patient during this time and you're diving into the mystical side, the psychic ability, not just intuition, the psychic channeling. I keep wanting to say channeling for you abilities. Then you'll start finding more of that spiritual enlightenment and awakening, and find a community of people that really resonate with your energy. Because, man, they're just showing you're like frustrated with people around you. Like, I feel like you might say, I want to pull my hair out with this fucking broad. Something like that. Like, you're just saying, this fucking girls drive me nuts and pull my hair out. And it's like people, I can't stand them. And it's like, yeah, well, that'll change. Okay, that'll change. But you have to understand your ability and your craft. And, once you really understand that you're a conduit and a channel, you have to please understand how to utilize that in your everyday life. Okay, in your everyday life. All right, Mrs. Conduit. Trust me, I hear you. I can hear it in my head now. I do have the idea. I'm telling you about it. I can hear it. Christopher, frustrated much? Okay, so understand those aren't the right people for you. They're not the right people. You don't have to, exhaust yourself in those circumstances. You can just say, let stupid be stupid. Now let's talk about, let me just clarify, Noel. about the patience. I'm not talking about patience as far as dealing with stupid people. And I say that with air quotes, as far as we all have a definition of what stupidity is. We're talking about patience about yourself, patience in yourself of building your ability and craft. We're talking about patience about understanding that your life is unfolding. That's the patience we're talking about. Then you wouldn't be exhausting your patience on stupidity. Does that make sense? Because if you're not being patient on the things that are really important to you and you're exhausting the patience on meaningless shit and people don't get it, you're going to be frustrated. So you start putting that patience into yourself, into your pleasures. Patience equals pleasures. Then guess what? Then you won't be dealing with these people and the meaningless interactions and the stupidity. You wouldn't have time for it. You're just like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So don't pull your hair out. You need that hair. Okay. All right, Mr. Daryl. I hope that makes sense, Mr. Daryl Blankenship. Sorry. This freaking chap lips makes me feel like I'm stuttering, or not stuttering, but like slurring words. Okay. Daryl Blankenship. 2 questions. I was told birthmarks are from my past life. Is this true? I have a birthmark on my ass. Does it mean I was killed whilst running away? LOL. 2. That's a good interpretation. I'll give you that, Daryl. That's a great interpretation of that. Okay. I had a boyfriend who died of AIDS in 1995. We had been split up for 6 years. I want to see him before he died, but he couldn't speak. I've always wondered if he had a message for me. Thanks, God. Okay. First of all, let's talk about the birthmarks from past life. I think your birthmark is saying X marks the spot. You must be a bottom. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Or you need to. I'm just kidding. Sometimes birthmarks are reflections of past lives. Let me see specifically that one. Where does that connect to? This is interesting. I sit on this because it's just too weird for me. That's why I always loved the spiritual space. Things are so fucking weird. I'm like, I wouldn't have put that for my ass. No pun intended. Talking about ass fucking birthmarks. I feel like the birthmark on and this is deeper than you might think. Is that it connects to me with a past life that there was torture involved. I don't necessarily think it really is specifically just targeting your ass, but I'm just seeing like torture involved where you were flogged, you were whipped, you were of this certain nature. I don't know if it was like some sort of enslavement type of thing, but it feels very sexually like a sexual cult type of ordeal too. It feels like. So it could just be you have a birthmark on like a part of your body that could be considered sexual, but it really is connecting to a past life that has that type of tortured, enslaved, sexual ritual type of abuse type of situation. I'm seeing being burnt. I actually feel like you were branded, my friend, at that life. Almost like they branded their. It's weird. I'm gonna have to look this up. I don't. This I'm sure it's happened. Everything's happened, right? I gotta look and see if the significance, if things like this really have existed. I've heard something similar, but I feel like there was a branding. There was some sexual ritualistic abuse that you've experienced. Sorry, there's no king or queen and famous person in this lifetime, but it definitely was an interesting experience. I feel like there's been quite a few experiences where you've been silenced or repressed in your past life. And I feel like that's why maybe in this lifetime you're very opinionated or have a strong voice because you're trying to get out and be free, which you might tend to, want to connect with people but also be free at the same time and trying to find the balance of that. But yeah, that lifetime is very interesting to me. I think they branded people too. So you weren't killed or shot in the ass. I feel like they branded you just like they branded all these other people, which is interesting. But it's very like sexual ritualistic type of experience. No, I that's why I said your bottom are telling you need to be like X marks the spot. Maybe start trying that. I knew you weren't. It's just a kind of a joke. That wasn't a read. Okay, so then let me see if he's accessible. If no one has channeled your friend's spirit, then he might not be accessible. But let me see if there's anything. Let's see. Let me just, before I shoot myself in the foot, see if I can connect with him. First of all, he says you were right. He says you were right. I feel like you might have said something about the illness or disease or HIV or age at that time, or cautioned him about something that he didn't listen to. And I feel like he's saying you're right. You're right, and it's very significant. I feel like he's saying that. So you should. I would believe that it would come to your head right away if you hear that, because he's saying, you're right, and he's also saying that. Almost like, again, it's very faint for me tapping into him, because maybe because he's been passed for so long, no one's really kind of activated his spirit. So I'm trying to like really zone in on his spiritual consciousness. But he's first saying that you were right, something about the illness that he didn't listen to and caused his demise, or whatever, or even created the illness for him, and his inability to really love. And I think that he's saying that you were very patient with him, as you shouldn't. And maybe you shouldn't. You didn't have a right to be, but you were patient with him. Who's Marcus? Marcus or Mark? He's connecting with too. I don't know if it's somebody at that time. And you might have suspected something with that, because he's saying like maybe even the fact that you were also right about this Marcus guy or dude or something like this. Because I heard Mark or Marcus, or something of that nature. And so I think he's kind of wants to acknowledge that he didn't listen to you. Because you were on him. Like, I feel like you're on it. You're saying, don't do this. You're just really kind of being very clear about this, and specifically. And he's like, he didn't listen. He's like, you're right. That's significant, because it was specific that. And this Mark or Marcus individual he's mentioning or bringing up too, I don't know where that's fitting into the picture. And if that is someone that also maybe he at that time, had a, I don't know, but he's connecting with that Marcus individual too. Okay. He's very faint, his energy, because I don't feel like I don't think he's being channeled a lot. You still have a picture of him too, framed. You still have a picture of him framed? He's saying like you keep him alive. So I don't know if you have a frame of him in the house. Picture still? I don't know. And he's wearing a suit or something too. But he's maybe something similar, just saying that you keep him alive. He just showed me a specific picture where he's in a suit. I don't know if it's a bow tie or just some sort of, and it's framed. I don't know if you have this picture or bring it out or you still have it. I don't know. There's some significance of that picture. What is the connection with Mark too? Because does it make sense why he's connecting with Mark, your brother? I hope that makes sense, Daryl. Because if it was a spirit that it's closer, I can get like the specifics. Why? I'm just getting the bits and pieces of this. That picture, you have that? Okay, because it's almost like he's saying you keep him alive. Was he did you have his ashes or something too? There's something with the urn. I don't know. I don't know if it's an urn or not. He's like, show me. It's almost like gaudy. Maybe it's a joke. Maybe it's a joke that maybe he wanted some really decadent urn or something like that. Very gaudy. I don't know. Or he's into gaudy type of things. I don't know. But he's like, show me this, like almost like a trophy. Like he's turning his urn into a trophy. So I think part of him is like, well, I earned my badge of honor. I took one for the AIDS epidemic. So it's almost like he's kind of proud of it. But I also don't know if he's also saying that he had to earn it, and it was also, if that urn was very gaudy. I don't know. I'm not sure actually, but he's actually very appreciative of you, and I think that Okay, so there must be that he's because he turned like an urn into a trophy. So maybe he's just saying he's proud of his death, proud of his passing. And it's like a gaudy something. It's very, very gold and gaudy, but he turned it into a trophy. So if there's no ashes, then he's probably just saying, "I turned my passing into honor," you know. Because I didn't understand, like, why do I see this urn and it's gaudy but turned into a trophy? So it's probably not literal ashes. It's probably just the fact that he's proud that he actually took one for the course. I think him passing with AIDS helped with the progression of AIDS awareness. So I think a lot of gays, who actually chose to sacrifice themselves with the AIDS pandemic during our human culture, it kind of helped bring awareness to it. So I think a lot of souls have spiritually, volunteered to be a part of that too, karmically, and to help bring awareness to such. So I feel like he was part of that contract. So I think he's proud of it. I think that's why he showed me this urn turned into a trophy. He's like, yeah, but he's earned his badge of honor by choosing to be a part of the pandemic and losing his life. But yeah, and so I hope that helps. He's with you, but you have to be more like telepathic with him, Daryl. All right, you'll have to be more, I would say, telepathic with him. Be more, you're feeling him. I don't think he's so close to physical reality to where he can alter physical things. You know what I'm saying? So, Well, I don't know if that's hot blonde, but he just showed me again. He turned an urn into a trophy. So I just think, like he said before, it's just being proud of his passing, that he's elevated because of being part of that type of experience for the gay culture, the gay community. All right. Let's go back to Venmo. Let me close this down because we're getting kind of late here, and then we'll wrap up the final questions here. All right. I'm glad because the fact that he's still getting clear, even though he's been passed for some time, I think you keep his spirit alive. So I think that's why maybe I'm so able to be clear with him, too, which is good. Because when spirit lays dormant, they don't really have much of a vibration to communicate. Okay, Sydney Sullivan. Card pull be lovely. Oh, you're so sweet, Sydney Sullivan. I have two more. I have Sydney Sullivan, and then after that is Kirk Andrews, and then I have Elevate Holistic Consulting, and then we are done. So let's get to the card pull. And where am I on? Oh, yes, Sydney Sullivan. This is card pull for Sydney. Okay. And guys, I love the feedback in the chat when I'm doing the reads. I love that. It helps me to understand. I like to connect with you guys, and so I hate just looking at myself on the monitor. Another reason why I love doing what I do is I love connecting with people, and I love connecting people with spirit. I love that because one thing I've been really kind of striving in my life is to understand how we are all very connected, and trying to do the best that I can to continue the connection and the integration of our species and spirit. So I love connecting in that way. When I'm just reading a question and I don't interact with someone, it's kind of lonely over here. It's lonely on this side of things. So thank you guys for responding back. I'm glad it came through too, Daryl. Clear. All right, this is for, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to speed it, but I'm going to be maybe talk a little faster for Sydney and Kirk and Elevate Holistic Healing. Sorry for that. I won't rush it, but I'll be quicker in my speech so we can, for time's sake. Because there is a lot of, I'll say, gigabytes this turns out to be on my computer. Not that I care about that. Okay. And guys, I urge you to go, those who don't know, those who do know, sure, it's fine. Check out Serious Joy, Christopher Witecki's channel. He does his live stream on Fridays. Amazing astrologer, I'll tell you. Inspiring me. And I consider him to be like a brother energy. I have a huge, strong past life connection with him. I just feel so connected to Christopher. And Christopher is still in the room. When I'm not with you, I feel you. I have so much love for you. It's just so, I don't know, I just feel so connected to you. I can really say brother and really feel like a brother energy with you, Christopher. So if you're in the room, great. If you're not, hopefully if Noel's in the room, and we'll spread the word to you. Good people. Wow. All right, I'm trying to get these cards, but they're... I love this. I love it. Okay. They're saying a lot of what you're doing is going to come into fruition. Okay? You have to understand, Sydney, that you have the energy spiritually as a magician. You have the ability to, like many of us who are, in the spiritual, realm as light workers, you have the ability to really kind of really alter reality unconsciously, easily. And so I think that you have very nurturing energy. I feel like there's going to be a lot of investments that are going to come into fruition. Time frame, 4 to 6 months. Within 4 to 6 months. Now, when I say within 4 to 6 months, it means it could happen sooner. It won't take any longer than 4 to 6 months. Now, if I say, by 4 to 6 months or in 4 to 6 months, then I'm talking about it will take that long. Within 4 to 6 months, you will see the reapings of financial, I would say, awards, things that you've done, that you've planted coming to fruition. They want to acknowledge you, saying you've been very focused on your endeavors, and especially on changing your life. So I think you've been going through a lot of change. And so you've been having a lot of focus on this change. I don't know why they're highlighting the financial and, I would say, investments primarily, which is nice. I mean, we all want money, but for me, I want peace and spiritual freedom. So money comes along with that. So we all have different focuses. Money has always been there for me when I've been doing what I need to be doing. And so I think that you might have been focusing more on these investments and the seeds that you've planted. And they're saying it's now time for fruition. And I think within the 4 to 6 month time frame, you're going to start seeing a lot of that growth, especially within investments in the financial sector of your life. And they just really want to validate you, saying that you've done so much focus on rearranging things. Let me tell you something. That changes are coming. This. You can sense this. You can feel it. You feel like there's an anchor, but you feel so much pulling you forward that you just know. I almost feel like you're saying to yourself, I feel like something big is going to happen. I even feel like you're saying this. I'm getting the spirit chills as I'm saying this, because I think it's going to be rather big. Did you book a session with me? I think you just booked a session. Did you? Maybe we'll talk about that specifically in the session. We'll save that for... I think I just saw you booked a session. Maybe if not, maybe another Sydney, but I doubt it. But I guess this could be the precursor for the session if you booked it. And so... I'm sorry, I'm missing it here. Yeah, exactly. But whatever you're invested in and the investments that you made, I'm telling you, they're going to come to fruition. You've been focusing. You've been like a mad woman. I would say, I'm getting rid of this. I'm doing this. I'm investing here. I'm focusing. And they're also saying, too, you might be writing a book. Yeah. If not a book, when I get the writing symbol, there's maybe not so much a book as it is something informative. It could be a blog or some nature of some sort. I just see you being pushed to write something. Okay? So I think that, it seems digital to me. So maybe some sort of, you decide to do a blog, or maybe you start deciding to write blogs. I feel some sort of inspiration is going to come to you in that format. Follow that. Okay? Don't think you're crazy. Just start doing that. Because you're specifically showing a computer screen. And so maybe you start writing for a column or something. I don't know how that will come about, but I see that vividly. Thank God. For a while, my clairvoyant part was being silenced because my God's like, we got to get your clairaudience stronger. So I'm like, okay. So I was going for a while without being visual. I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard. But then I enjoyed it because I was hearing a lot. Now it's like I've got my visuals back. It's like, woo, it's nice being so visual. But I definitely see that. You have a writing background. Well, you'll get back into the writing, love. No, 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 no. You didn't spend too much time marketing technology. Let me tell you something that you need to understand that space. You had to understand marketing. You had to understand technology. That's part of what you'll be doing next. And we'll talk about that in the session. Okay? Because that'll be kind of, I would say I could get in more detail with that. Okay? So understand that will come back to the surface with the writing aspect. That's where I think your passion really lies, or that's where your expertise will lie. And I think that a lot of that will be, you need to channel and to be very expressive and make a difference in things. So we'll get into that more in our session. And I think that'd be cool. So great change, confirmation for you that a lot what you've been changing and doing, everything is putting things into motion. You'll see a lot of those things come to fruition, like I said, within the 4 to 6 month time frame. It feels big. It feels free to me, and I love it. I love it. Yay, Sydney. Yay, Sydney. Whoop, whoop. Okay. This is for Kirk Andrews. Kirk Andrews, 2 questions. What's in store for me for the next few months? Financially healing. Okay, so look at the financial aspects or healing aspects. Okay, let me see. Okay, I don't need cards for this. This is questions. I can just tune on in. Okay. Let me see, Kirk. For the next few months, what can we say financially for Kirk for the next few months? They're saying you're financially plateaued. You're like, they're saying that you have to rearrange either, I don't want to say poor investments. You're giving money out to things that do not need to be, that you don't need to be giving money to. So you're spending money, you're not being wise with your spending. Not that you're being overly frugal, but I think that you need to take a step back and realize some careless decisions you're making financially. That's what they're recommending. That will solve a lot of problems actually for you, because it'll get you in a different mindset. So as simple as budgeting, saying, okay, this is what's coming in. This is let me look at what I spent last month, doing that again this month. And then getting yourself in the mind space of saying, I want to actually be more in control of my money. They're saying you got to get the physical things in order. Okay, again, this is for Kirk Andrews. And I think they're saying once you do this, then ideas will kind of flow to you. So I think you're going to have a lot of ideas. I think you're going to have, that will inspire you to start thinking about maybe a change of work, or doing your work differently. Either change with work or doing your work differently. I feel like a connection with real estate. So I feel like that is going to come in. So I think that you'll either be inspired to do real estate, or opportunity with real estate comes in the picture for you, that will provide you with more financial freedom. I feel like you're going through a breakup, or you're breaking something. I just feel like it's the separation. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm dropping my pen. I feel a separation, or you're closing a chapter in a relationship, or closing a chapter or something. And I feel that is something that also is kind of getting in the way until you fully kind of resolve that chapter. And you say to yourself, okay, well, I'm putting this behind me, so I'm moving forward now. It feels heavy. It feels heavy. If you've dumped too much time into something. And I think that's affected your mental health. I also think that's affected your physical health. So you close a chapter on this relationship or circumstance that you've been dumping too much in, investing in, financials is going to change. This is interesting because I said this in the beginning in the collective read. I don't know if you were in the room or not, where I said if you're not attending to the emotional deprivations or the emotional imbalances, life is going to kick you in the nuts in the financial department. So I think that once you get things in order, you do the simple thing, I'm going to budget, see what I spent last month, get a bigger view of every penny that's going in and out. And you're closing the chapter on this situationship, whatever that chapter is, a splitting, I feel like a splitting of something, a splitting of dynamic, and you allow yourself to put it behind you, then I do sense a very speedy recovery. And there might be a real estate opportunity that comes to you, either to invest in a property or to be a partnership in investment property, or you get into real estate. I feel like it will come about and you'll start, becoming more independent. Something about the word independent, I think that you will start understanding. So in a sense, the next few months, I think you'll be making a lot of those realizations in the next few months. And so, yes, there's change, but we need you to, we, Spirit and I, need you to say, I'm done with this chapter. I'm done with this chapter. You have to set the tone. You have to put the gas on the pedal, say, we're going. We're leaving this chapter behind now. It feels like a relationship to me, or it feels like a circumstance or situation that has affected your mental health and physical health. And but I do sense that there's going to be some, if you continue to do what you're doing, there might be a slow progress. If you kind of take heed of what we're saying, you'll see faster progress. Okay? So I do see that realization. Okay? And they just want to say ending the chapter or something. I don't know why they want to format it that way. But, and that'll also help you with the physical health as well. Like get you more in tune with getting your physical health in order as well. It's the independence they keep saying. The independence, the independence, the independence they keep saying. All right? And that's your stage. And if you say yes to that, Spirit's going to help you to speed it up. And the things that we're saying before that might be unbeknownst to you will fall into your place. And you're like, oh, I get it. A lot of times, people ask about the future, and they hear about the future, and then, of course, things change in the future because they don't understand it. They think it's crazy, or they think that the reader's off. It's like, excuse me, you're asked about the future that you don't know about. And, of course, we're all going to change. Maybe you're actually contesting what I'm saying, and that's why I'm saying this to you now. But things change. And, again, there's things that I'm doing now I never thought I'd be doing 15, 20 years ago if someone told me. The things that happened in my life, they told me, I'd be like, yeah, right, you're crazy. And I get that all the time with my clients. I've been cursed before in the past of people saying, I would never do that. You're off. And then a year later, they come back apologizing. So understand, if you're not in the perspective of change, any type of perspective that people tell you that's going to change, you'll think it's crazy. That's a reflection that you're not in the mindset of change. So get in the mindset of change and being, again, closing that chapter and being independent. And you'll see fast change. And then everything that you've been depriving yourself of because of a situationship, that door opens up for you. And you start saying, oh my God, now I see my potential. Now I see my worth. Now I see what I'm designed to do. Now I see what my intentions are. Now I see what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's real healing. That's real healing. When you allow yourself to be yourself, and you allow yourself to not be anchored down by a situation or person, or emotional deprivation, no matter what dynamic it is. And I think if you rewatch this live, and usually I'm very preachy, I've been very chill the past 3 lives. Don't worry. Loud and preachy Scott's going to be coming back rather soon. But things have been heavy with people, so we need more of a calming, relaxing energy. But my other lives, I'm very bam, 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 but you guys don't need that right now. You guys need kind of a little bit more of a kind of a neutral guidance and a calm guidance right now. But I'm saying to you, Kirk, if you go back and watch the beginning of this, the collective read of this session, that message is for you. You got this. And you're going to change it. You just need encouragement right now. You just need encouragement. That's all you need. And once you have encouragement, you move forward, things unfold. And you'll see why things have been maybe depriving you and so forth. You'll start seeing why maybe things have been stalling. You'll start seeing why you have been seeing in the future. But you got this. You just need a little bit of a push to get into that mindset. And when you do, the flow. All right. Last, but certainly not least, Katie again. Hi, it's Katie again. I said it's Katie again, and she just literally put that. It's Katie again. Follow-up to carpool. The apartment I applied for today, which is available at the end of December, almost 2 months away, the right one. And should I stay in the current house despite it being for sale? Thank you. That's the move we're talking about, huh? No, that's good. That's good. Hey, Kirk. Paulus, thank you, man, for showing up. I'm glad. Thank you, Kirk. I'm glad you chimed in. It's good to see the response there. I appreciate you. We might be some might be lagging too. I don't know what the latency is for certain people. Yeah, no, the apartment you applied for is good for me. You might have been kind of impulsive about moving right away, but I feel like the 2 months is good. So, yeah, that's fine. That's time. Like, I didn't see like right away, like the move. Like, don't be so hasty to move right away. Like, consider, think about it. And so it put more thought into it. And yeah, I think that's good. I wouldn't stay in the house that you're saying. That you're talking about. No, I think getting out of the house is a proper decision to do. So yeah. And the apartment, even if it's that one or another one, there might be another opportunity unfolds. No, I definitely think it's great. I think a lot of them are saying just be patient with the process. You know, the move was in the card pull. And they're saying don't be so impulsive about it either. So, and if you haven't been impulsive, then you're doing the right thing. You know, for shizzle, my nizzle. All right. Appreciate you, Katie. Appreciate every single one of you guys. It's awesome to have you guys. Been a great Thursday. Yep. Okay. Impulsive is your middle name. Okay. Well, the cards don't lie, right? So, they say the hips don't lie, the cards don't lie. I gotta get that shirt and maybe I should say my hips don't lie, put the cards on my hips. Right? The hips don't lie. What was that, Shakira? Is that a Shakira song? Oh, the hips don't lie. Is that Shakira? I don't know. All right, guys. I'm gonna pull some maybe cards in closing right now, and then we'll be on our way. Yeah, I was looking back at some of my other videos, and I'm like, gosh, I don't want to always be preachy either. Because I'm a very laid back, cool, chill. Don't have to be so intellectual. I'm also be laid back and just goofy too, which I want to bring that to my lives as well. I don't know if everyone remembers that one the watered down Febreze fart segment that I had. Those who've been watching for me for a while remembered that experience when I kind of compared this person's relationship to a guy that kind of lingers. But he doesn't really change. But then it gets good, but it goes back to lingering. And I compare it to like a Febreze watered down fart. Sometimes it smells good, but then just lingers after that. I don't know. I don't know why that came to mind. Maybe there's some lingering farty people relationships in this room. I don't know why that came to mind. I would say whatever comes to mind is what's going on right now. And so, guys, whatever comes to your mind and in your lives, understand that's a present energy that you're connecting with, and ask yourself why you're connecting with that. I know a lot of people, and this is something this is good to say in closing too, is that, oh, is that you? Is that you? Okay, interesting. A lot of you guys think that when you, I want to repeat this, is kind of in the beginning. When you guys make change or want to make change, and you guys have fear about, like, again, ending a relationship, and you say, well, I have a fear of being alone. Understand you're alone now. Anything that you're feeling now is what's going on right now. We're not like projecting the future. Oh, I'm fearful because of what's in the future. No, you're only connecting with that emotion because it exists now. Please remember this. We don't channel things things that haven't happened yet. And if we are doing that, we're hopping in the future, we're hopping in the past, we're still relating to that energy because we're in it currently. If you did not relate to being alone, you wouldn't have a reaction to it. I always say what we react to, we relate to, either positively or negatively. That's why when people give me compliments and they say, you're an amazing person, I say, well, you're an amazing person because you can only be an amazing person to see it in somebody else, right? So please understand, whatever you're feeling about the future or have trepidation over is what you're going through currently. And when you come to terms with what's going on currently, then you can change the circumstance and allow yourself to be more optimistic and realistic about the future progression and how things will unfold and evolve for you. It's very important to understand that. And how many times, I guess next week, I will have the cold phrase like Pee Wee Herman. How many times do I say, that's very important, that's very important, it's very important? How many times? We'll do a count next week because I seem like I say that, and of course, all the time. Having to edit my videos, I'm like, oh my God, I have to listen to this freaking voice all the time and hear what I'm saying. And gosh, how many times am I going to say that word? But maybe that's the point. Maybe the fact is there is that kind of free spirited, I don't care energy. All right, in closing, guys, this is a good message. No matter what you're going through, guys, and no matter what the experiences you're having, every single one of you here, I know for sure, wants change. And if you're in a circumstance that wants change, you're going to find it. Understand everything that you're going through right now, you're blossoming from. It's. I always use the analogy of the butterfly in the cocoon analogy, that we're in that cocoon, we're brewing, and we got to push out the cocoon. There's a resistance, there's a push out of that cocoon, but once you push out of that, then you emerge a beautiful butterfly. So all these circumstances that are bringing this strife, say to yourself, you know what? This is my empowerment moment. This is where I'm going to gain more insight into myself and actually how I can become more an empowered version of myself. I'm blossoming now through these circumstances. I may not know how it's going to end up or how I'm going to resolve it, but I will. I'm going to. I'm determined to. That's what's going to bring that true change. Okay, and that's what is going to unstick you, whatever way you put that terminology of that word. That will provide movement. It would get you out of that bondage state of thinking and I would say and feeling. And so it really is how you define your circumstances. And how you define your circumstances is how you experience your circumstances. So whatever you're feeling right now is how you defined the experience to be, which is why you're experiencing the emotions, which is just energy and motion. That's what emotions are, energy and motion. And I like to say emotions are manifestations of thought, and thoughts are manifestations of what you choose to focus on and how you choose to focus. So if you want to change the emotion, you got to change the thought. If you want to change the thought, you got to change on how you're focusing on things. And if you don't believe this is true, go watch a movie. Watch how schizophrenic you'll be in that movie. 1 minute you're laughing, the next minute you're crying, the next minute you're scared for your life, the next minute you're laughing again, the next minute you're crying for joy. Then you're sad. Then you're excited. Because you're focusing on material and you're actually thinking about what you're focusing on, then it renders an emotion. You can see that's how we process things just by watching a film or listening to a piece of music. So if you really want to gain control of your circumstances, how you're processing circumstances, start paying attention of how you are focusing on things and start paying attention to how you're defining the things that you're experiencing. And then guess what? You'll generate different thoughts. And you'll start generating thoughts that are more in alignment to, say, if you're being empowered in your thought process or your focus, then you'll create thoughts that are more empowering for you. And then emotions that will give you that empowerment push. So that is the formula, guys. And be very, very aware of that, of how you're defining the circumstances. They're just circumstances. And what you're experiencing in those circumstances only exists in your own mind. So if you're creating the way you're experiencing the circumstances now, you can create how you can change how you want to create it for the next day or in the future. And are you allowing yourself to stay stuck in it? That's very important to understand too. There you go. Again, important to understand again. It's very important to understand if you're just allowing yourself to just be stuck because you haven't allowed yourself to create another alternative for yourself. And you're not allowing yourself to believe in yourself enough that you could be empowered to do something else, something new, something greater. And that's where I think you guys want to look at your circumstances and start saying that to yourself and say, and if you want to just take the perspective and the approach that life is happening through you, not to you. When you start saying, okay, life is here to help me evolve and to grow spiritually and to grow and to become a better version of myself. If you take that premise in life, you won't be defeated by anything. You will find the empowerment through anything. And whether it's true or not that life is doing that is irrelevant. You are deciding to take life in that format, which is empowering, which will continue to empower you. You don't have to know how the circumstances will unfold. You can say, I'm going to make it such. I'm going in this direction, so it's going to have to follow me. And that's the reality, how we actually really do create reality. And I think that's important for us to really, again, here we go. That's like 3 times already. I've said that's important for us to understand. But that's how we really create reality, that we can massively alter things, especially if we are learning a karmic lesson and we complete the process of karmic lesson. We have the ability, we have the, I would say, the opportunity to re-render our future the way we want to because we earned it. We're no longer subservient to the karmic lesson any longer. And that's a great thing to really understand, for the 7th time of saying that. Well, it's been a wonderful Thursday, guys. Again, I'm here every Thursday. Those of you who are watching and maybe are hesitant of doing a live question, as I'm trying to shut down these overlays. We're not back to welcome anymore. We're gonna say goodbye. You can book a private session with me, scottcruzpm.com. I offer life readings, mediumship sessions, as well as intuition builder. Of course, they're more in depth, they're more focused because we're interactive, both phone sessions and Zoom sessions. And if not, you can tune in every Thursday. Share this channel with everybody. I want to build a nice community of people. And again, check Christopher Witecki out for his lives tomorrow on Sirius Joy TV channel. And if you don't know the channel, we've done an interview on my page. You can just see I have the link in there on my channel as well. And I want to say to you everyone in the room, as I will always say, you are all the gods and goddesses of your own myth, what you want to create. Much love, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed evening, week, and I will see you next week. Ciao.